a most peculiar court case. In a sense, you could say the defendant was the historicity of the Tanakh itself. Academics from across the spectrum came in to testify for or against the authenticity of an object that could have huge implications for the academic world, if it is in fact not a forgery. The home of Oded Golan, a private antiquities collector, was raided by the Israel police. The claim was that he was attempting to sell an antique to a wealthy collector in London. The problem being, the item was believed to be a fake. The item in question was a tablet stating it was written by Yoash, the king of Yehuda, and describing his Bedek Habayit, meaning his renovation of the Beis Hamikdash. The entire academic world was watching with anticipation as the case was brought to court. As the tide was leaning towards forgery, one of the police officers carrying the items accidentally dropped it. Oops, I guess they should have been a little more careful when they were trying to choose who understands the great significance of this item or potential significance and who should be the one to hold it. But either way, the tablet broke into two. While this could be a tragedy if it's a real artifact, it did provide the geologists involved, and again, you had people from all different sciences trying to figure this out. So the geologists at this point do get a chance to examine the inside of the tablet, and they confer that it certainly could not have been created within the last 100 years. But then the objections quickly came in. Perhaps the tablet itself is old or even ancient, but who is to say that he didn't create his forgery on a pre-existing tablet? In the end, the judge couldn't rule with certainty one way or the other regarding the item's authenticity. Some academics claim that there are mistakes and inaccuracies clearly indicating it's a forgery. Others say that the degree to which the forger would have had to have had a team of maybe even dozens of experts in different fields just to create the doubt of authenticity proves that it is in fact authentic. And what we perceive as inaccuracies may be inaccuracies in our own understandings in these fields. We don't know. I remember when I first heard about this inscription, I don't know if my professor, Rabbi Dr. Yossi Elitzur, still feels this way about it, because this was quite a number of years ago. But he said back then that one of the problems should in fact have been quite obvious. Today, when you go into the shuls in Parshat Shuma, they hold a whole appeal to raise money for Bedek Habayit. Wonderful. They want to do Bedek Habayit. Isn't that great? Well, not really, because like the creator of the inscription, they seem to think that Bedek Habayit means the refurbishing of a structure. In this case, like the synagogue, right? Funds for building up the synagogue or fixing it up, renovating. But if we look at the usage of this term in the perek, it says lechazek et bedek habayit, meaning bedek is like sedek, it's cracks in the walls, and these funds were for increasing the cracks and breaks in the walls. That's a problem, right? That's probably not what it meant. But lechazek, it was to fix them up and refurbish them. Almost every time it's mentioned in perek, that's how it's mentioned. Though I'll add that it may be possible to interpret some of the references differently. Either way, as wonderful as it would be to find such an inscription to be authentic, he, at least at the time, did believe that it was a fake. The debate over the inscription continues in the academic circles, and it certainly does cast a shadow over the scientific nature of archaeology, both in general, as a science, and the conclusion that's brought forth from it. Naturally, some of the outspoken academics against the inscription's authenticity were those whose lifelong theories would be debunked. That being said, archaeology can still be an incredible tool for connecting with the events of the Tanakh. When guiding at the Israel Museum Archaeological Wing, I generally emphasize that while it's an amazing opportunity to see items from all over Israel in one place, I mean, you don't even travel all over the land, it's kind of like the whole land comes to you in this one place in Yerushalayim, but still, these things can help us to connect with the times of the Tanakh. And of course, at the same time, we have to keep in mind our Amunah is not based on one scholar or another raising theories about artifacts that's been pulled out of the earth from thousands of years ago. It shouldn't push our faith in one direction or the other. What comes out of the ground is a fact, but its interpretation, its meaning, is subject to the theories and political views of the academic presenting it. There is proof of the Tanakh, but we don't seek it out in archaeology. We are the proof of the Tanakh. You are the proof of the Tanakh. We still exist and return to our land. No one else could have made such a prediction. Everything else is just a bonus. Archaeology has its limitations, but the opportunity to use it to bring our learning to life is an incredible gift for our times.